Hey, what's going on, folks? It's Mike here, and welcome back to my game programming series with SDL 3 and the D programming language. Now, in this episode, I'm going to be showing you how to set up the D programming language with SDL 3 purely on Windows from the command line. Now, towards the end of the video, I'll also show you setting up with VSCode, so you can sort of understand how to do this if you have a favorite text editor. VSCode seems to be popular these days. I'll even show you how to install the D plugin, Code D. I've got a separate video on that on my dedicated D programming language list, but anyways, I decided I'd just show you here in case this is how you're getting into the D programming language and Windows and SDL and game programming stuff. It's just all here so you can get set up here. Now, throughout the video, I'll also install the D compiler, so we're truly doing this from scratch. And in later videos, I'll show you how to do this with Windows Subsystem for Linux if you prefer working on Windows in a Linux environment and doing your D and game programming there. That's also fine. And it might be a good path forward, especially if you're targeting multiple platforms, which is kind of the goal of SDL3 anyways, to see if you can test on two platforms. That is something that I think actually makes Windows a valuable platform to test on, because you can just have both operating systems very easily with a WSL layer. But anyways, we'll get more into that in another episode, so stay subscribed for that. But otherwise, let's just go ahead and dive in and get SDL3 set up on Windows with a D programming language. Okay, folks, so we're going to get started with the D programming language and SDL3. So a few notes before we begin. If you're not familiar with the D programming language, I have a bunch of videos here. I'm assuming you already are if you're here. SDL3, I have a C++ playlist here that you can go ahead and check out, which will have related videos here. I'll go ahead and just open and scroll through that. Again, because SDL is a C-based library, again, most of the lessons there are going to be the same. But again, because we're doing things in D, I've started a separate D playlist on game programming with SDL, so you can check out any of those videos usually here, which you can find in the description, and I'll be adding more videos there as we move along. So feel free to check any of those out here. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of those, but again, there might be useful videos on setting up things with Windows on this playlist added later towards the front of the playlist, or again, you can check out the other playlist I have on SDL3, because I've got other instructions there just on setting up SDL in general with different operating systems, so that might also be useful. Anyways, the goal is to get you set up with SDL, the simple direct media layer. Again, if you're not familiar, it's a cross-platform development library that takes care of the things like opening a window for us on Linux, Mac, OpenGL, iOS, Android, gaming platforms, TV, operating systems, everything basically. And then you can also use hardware accelerated APIs like OpenGL, Direct3D, Vulkan, Metal, Direct3D 12, for instance, for Windows users might be of more interest. But anyways, you get the idea there. So what we're going to go ahead and do is just go to the releases here. And we're going to want to release that's later than 3.2. 3.20, I believe, might have been the official ABI lock, application binary. Interface would be the same. So again, 3.2 or later is what you want here. I'm going to go down to releases. You can usually find the latest release there. And what we're going to want to do here is let's download. Let's see, there's a few different ways that we could set this up here. We're going to do things on the terminal here. So let's just start by doing the min-gw, or actually, we'll make this even simpler. We'll just download the SDL Window 32 x64. I'm on a 64-bit system. It looks like if you're on an older system, there is an x86 one, but make sure you download the x64 version here. And I'm not sure, let's see, if you're on an ARM-based machine, again, you'll want to download this one. I'm on a Intel architecture, but if you're on like maybe a Surface or something on Windows, right, that would be the ARM architecture. You're just going to have to look that up otherwise. But anyways, let's open that up and see what's in this SDL folder here. I'll go ahead and just extract this here, open up all the contents. I could just dump them in downloads. You might want to put it in another location here. But the main thing we need is this SDL3 DLL. And our goal is with the D programming language is basically to put that DLL wherever our root application directory is. Or we can also move this to a location, for instance, on a system path. But again, if you're distributing an application, again, you'd want an installer to also download and grab the SDL libraries and so on. But anyways, let's go ahead and just look at this install here. Let's just open it up in Notepad. That seems to be the editor I have here. Let's see. And it's telling us, okay, we've got some different ways to download and install things. This has been built for a 64-bit system here. Okay, we'll just go ahead and figure this out, no problem. Now, the other thing you're going to need is the D programming language. I'm just going to go ahead and go from the installer. I'm going to use DMD, which is the base compiler here, but you might also be interested in GDC or LDC. Again, you can check out my D language playlist for that as well. But let's just go ahead and check out this executable here. Let's see. Now it says, do we have to trust this? Yeah, let's keep it here. Now report this app as safe. Okay, so we got all the Windows security stuff here going on. Let's see if I can just open it up here. It might give me a little bit of trouble here. Let's see here. Keep, I think, is all I need to do here. What do I do here? Keep anyways. Okay. So for whatever reason, it's always marked DMD. I don't know. I like that, but let's just go ahead and run the installer here. I'll go ahead and do yes. I'll report that later just so maybe you won't have to deal with it. And we'll just go ahead and run through the installer. I'm going to install my C drive in the D directory here. Okay, so it looks like maybe I had some old stuff installed there. So that's okay. If you have an older version, no problem. But again, the installer, you can basically just click through and have set up here. I'm going to set it for the default paths here. There is a nice Visual D extra here. I'm not going to worry about that for now. I'm going to see if I can do everything through the terminal here. And let's just go ahead and install this. Now, since I have no Visual Studio installation, but I will, let's see, if I need to target the VC runtime. Okay, I'm just going to accept the, let's see here. Let's just do, I mean, we could do the defaults here. Maybe we'll do the redistributable so I can use it with the min.gw compiler as well here. I think that's what we might need here. But I think the defaults will work fine. I do have some other videos on setting things up with Visual Studio elsewhere, but I think that'll be a separate video. So let's just go ahead and try this out for installation. Now, for folks who are, while this is installing here, concerned at all about this installation process, I do also recommend Windows Subsystem for Linux. Works quite well on Windows. You can just run it within a Linux environment. That's also fine. But let's go ahead and see if that did the things that we want here. I'm going to open up a command prompt and let's see if DMD was installed here. If I just type it out here, yeah, it looks like we got the decompiler. Let's see here, Control L. Oh, I see. Refresh. I think it's clear on Windows. Clear will work, or CLS. DMD version. Okay, so it looks like we got the right version installed. This is the year 2025. So again, which matches down here. Great. Okay, so let's try to do something simple with SDL here. Let's go ahead to the SDL library here. I'm just going to grab some program here. And you'll just need a text editor of some sort here. I don't know if I have Notepad++. Let's see here. Might have to just download it. Let me even see. Do I have Vim here? I do. Okay, never mind. Forget all these things here. Forget all this. Forget all this. Let's just go ahead to the wiki. I'm just going to find a SDL example, and we'll just try to get something running, just so you can see if it's running or not. Now, the other thing to think about is I'm going to do this all in the command prompt. I know a lot of you are probably more comfortable using, let's see, I do have Visual Studio Code here. Let's just give this a moment to pop open here. Get rid of all this stuff here. You can also do this. Maybe we'll do this through the terminal here, right? So I can do DMD or DMD version as well down there. Let's get rid of this here, right? So, you know, whatever you're most comfortable in. I'm just going to try this in the terminal. Maybe we'll do it both ways. Whatever, you know, works for you. But let's go ahead to the index, complete API index. Let's see here. Let's just try to find an example, SDL create window, because basically I just want to initialize a window and get things set up here. I think some of these have examples. I think that create window and renderer. Yeah, this shall do here. Let's just pop open a window here. I'm being a little bit lazy. You can see my other examples where I type things out here. But basically what I want to do here is just in a command prompt. Let's list out where things are here. Let's see. And I always have to remember, can I make a directory like this here? Let's just call this SDL, CMD, and CD into it. You can see there's nothing. I'm just going to create a empty D file. Let's just call it SDL example.d. And let's go ahead and right click. Usually pastes on this. Let's see here. That's going to be the great, let's see, control V here, warning. Yeah, let's just paste it in anyways. Okay, so I don't really like that. Here, so paste. Okay, now let's try control V. Okay, that's better. Okay, much better. And actually, I don't want to do this here. Let's just type it out here because we got to do this in D anyway. So let's just type it out quick. Okay, here's our main. And basically, if you want to follow along, let's make the example show here. Right, this is the C code here. Or again, you can follow my C++ series, but we're going to do things in D here. SDL window. We need to initialize SDL with the init function, SDL init, say video here. I'm going to move these things in a moment here, so stay tuned. And then let's do SDL window equals, I'm just going to kind of follow this example, SDL create window D SDL3 window. And let's make this 320 by 240 and SDL always SDL window always on top here. I'm just going to pick an option. We don't need OpenGL or to worry about any graphic stuff right now. Then SDL delay, 3000 seconds here, and then SDL quit. SDL quit here. Okay, let's just start with that here. Okay, so let's just try to compile this to show you what happens here. So again, here is my screen here. Ooh, Windows added ls. Usually I always type out dir. But anyways, DMD, let's go ahead and try to compile this. Okay, it's going to say undefined identifier here. Why? Well, a few things. One, we did not copy in our SDL DLL here. So you can move this or copy it. But these are compiler errors, right? It's telling you line number and so on. So that means it's a compiler error. So that's not quite the linking error yet, but we do want to keep that window available here. So we need to figure out what the definitions are. So again, to go back in my history here, let's see here. I'm just going to have to search it. Mike Shaw DSDL3. Let's see if we can find the D programming language series. Let's see here. Install SDL D language. Let's see how good Bing does here on the searches. Oh well. Let's see. Let's see if we can find the D language. Sorry that I am diverting here. Here. Okay, this will do it here. This is actually the exact video I want here too. So one of the things that you can do is, I'm just going to fast forward a little bit through this video so you can see the point here. Let's close this and try to get rid of our advertisements, right? You can create the manual binding yourself, okay? That's what this video will show you. I'll just show you the title here so we don't have to do a version on Windows. So you can check that out if you want. But what we're going to do instead is use a dub package in the D programming language to take care of this. So what do I mean by that? Well, again, from the SDL homepage here, it says SDL is a C library and works natively with C++, and there are bindings available for other languages like C#, Python, and of course the D programming language. So the one we're interested in is bindbc here. And basically that'll do the job of loading the DLL file for us that contains all the implementations of the functions, as well as defining what these symbols are for us. Okay, so if I go back here and it says undefined identifier, or this type is unknown, again, the binding is going to take care of that. Okay, so you can click on the GitHub and follow the installation instructions there. The other way to do this is to go to packages and search something like SDL. If you search SDL3, I think bindbc is the only one, but I just want to show you there are other SDL bindings available. If you do want to check those out, maybe they'll get updated or so on. But anyways, bindbc is the one that we want. I'll click on that. And basically, I'll show you how to use this with dub so that you can get set up here. And if folks really want to see the manual binding on pure Windows, you can do that. But basically, we're just going to do this with dub. and then add bindbc.sdl here. So let me go back here, and I'm just going to do dub init, and let's just call this SDL3 example. Okay, so SDL, we'll do the JSON. Project's fine, the description's fine, except the defaults, whatever license you want, your copyright string, dependencies, right? So again, you can try something like SDL3, that's probably not going to work, right? Bind BC SDL, just like you see over here that I've highlighted in the window. Click enter, adds the dependency here. Click enter again, it says success, okay? So now, let's see, I've got my SDL3 example that's initialized with dub. Let's move SDL example into SDL3. Let's see if that works here. 3 example. Oops. Let's see if that works here. Nope. Does that work? I don't think that worked. Sorry, not all the command prompt stuff is the same here, but I'll type that out again, no worries. Okay, so now we have our dub project. Run dub. The first time it runs, it's going to take some time to fetch the libraries. I'll show you where those go in a second. But it looks like it did execute and run our program here. So where is bind, BC, and so on? Well, again, if I show you what's in the dub setup here, vim dub JSON, you should see the bind BC 2.2.2. That was the dependency that we added in the JSON file. The dub selections file should also have something like that, 2.2.2, and then its dependencies, loader and common. So those are the dependencies that we have. We've got our executable here that runs, and then in Windows you have like a .pdb file, which I think is for debug information. So anyways, there's that. And again, if I want to run this in Windows, you just type it out. And I'll say edit source app to start your program, because if I go into source app.d, let's see if that opens it up. That's all this program prints out, right? So this is where we need to add our SDL. So let me go back here and just copy in basically this little setup here. Let's paste it in here. Don't need that. Okay, so that should look something like this here. Okay. Okay, so we're doing a little bit better here. We have dub set up here in our program. Let's clear and just show you what's going on here. So I can run dub, and now I'm at least getting the same errors, but I've got this bindbc SDL package that's going to help us, right, do the bindings here. Okay, so what do I need to do here? It's a little bit easier to see on the GitHub for the setup, but again, this provides both static and dynamic binding options for you. For SDL3, there are SDL2 branches if you care about that in this repository, but let's go ahead and scroll down, just so you can see what's going on. Again, in the dub file, which is the package manager for D, it sets up the versions. You can set up SDL with a particular version of it. If you want to use SDLnet or image or those dependencies, those are also available. But essentially, we need to import bindbc.sdl, and then we can start calling some of these functions here if we're using the static binding. Simple as that. I'm going to show you how to use the dynamic binding, just because I guess it's a little bit more interesting. But it's basically, we can copy this block of code here. The important parts are, well, you know, there's this whole part here, but really what we want is this one down here. Let me scroll it up just in case YouTube's blocking it or something. But you know, where to find our SDL3 library here. And this is usually if we have like a platform specific thing, like for Windows, for instance, we'll need this. So I'm not sure, this code might error on out for us. But anyways, we at the least need this line here somewhere. And I'll show you how I set this up. Like I set this up for the rest of my examples. So let's just start by copying this and then in a text editor. And let's go into source just so you can see what's the structure of the project here. I'm just going to create SDL. I just call abstraction.d. And then I'm going to, again, paste this in here. Okay. Let's see, Control V. And okay, I'm going to paste it in. And this code, as is, because D is very similar to C and so on, it's very similar here. Okay, I'm going to get rid of the comments because that's just noise for us right now. You do want to read those because you can learn about the error handling and some of the other cool features here. But I'm going to show you how I load the library here. I'll leave this one because it's sort of important, but I'm going to use module constructors in D. So shared static this, and basically when I include this function, this is for this module SDL abstraction. I can add a name at the top if it makes you more comfortable. You can do something like this here, module SDL abstraction, etc. But basically, as soon as I import this for the first time, this code will run here. Okay. So let me make sure I spell shared properly. That means it'll just run once. You can read about module constructors or see them on my D programming playlist whenever I talk about them. I'm also going to have a destructor as well. Okay, so let me scroll down here. Let's open a line under here. Shared static, shared static, and then the destructor at the tilde mark. And this is going to call SDL quit. Okay, let's move this Windows stuff up here. Let me paste it about here is right. And let's go ahead and just stare at that for a moment. I'll paste this in the description. Again, I'm not going to do this for all my videos, but just so you have something you can try if that's working or not. But now basically what I need to do here is in my app, I need to import the SDL abstraction. And I'll probably need to import bindbc.sdl too. Okay, now I don't need quit because that's in my destructor. And initializing the video subsystem, I'm going to do that here. Okay, just so I initialize SDL. Now I give my warning here, if you're building a game engine or something, you probably want more control over this than just the module. But again, this is just easy to get us set up and running. And you might also want some like Boolean here. And I'm also going to do SDL init events. I think it's the other one we probably want here. So if that's true, I'm going to just write out SDL successfully initialized. And you should do stuff like print out the version number or something here. That's also useful. Okay, so anyways, that should be enough to, let's see if we at least get rid of the compiler errors now. Okay, simple program here, just creating a window, opening it, and then ending. And then the module constructors will, effectively, you can think of this, and what do I mean by this? I mean all of this code running before main, and all this code runs after main. Okay, so let's go ahead and try to see what that does. I'm in the source directory, so I need to move up one. Let's run dub again. Classic. Okay, I need to import Studio. Some of you probably saw that. And we're like, wow, I can't believe he forgot that. SDL abstraction. D. Okay, in here, I need to import. I'll just do it here. Import stdio. Okay, now let's give this a go. Deb. Okay, almost working. It's crashing, right? It's going to give you some weird error, but no more compiler errors, so that's great. So we know we at least have bindbc working here, but we're getting a link error here and saying, okay, something or another. So what's going on here? Well, we're not done yet, so let's go into source. Let's look at this SDL abstraction. Few things here. One, this thing, loading SDL, well, we have the Windows version of it, and then we have this one here, right? This is the one that we probably want to use if we have like version Linux or Mac, right? We probably want to use something like that. So this is one case where the version specifier in the D programming language is really nice. This is like your preprocessor directive. If you use like pound, if, def and so on, that's what you can use here. So I usually separate these out by platform, just so I can give, specific error messages for Linux, like, hey, if I didn't find this, check your user/lib directory or whatever. And here we're just saying, hey, check whatever directory here. And I'm not going to, well, I could put this in libs here. Let's just leave that as is. Let's try this one more time to see if it gives us a different error message. Okay, some sort of linker error I'm still expecting. Okay, now it's saying undefined identifier. Oops, so that's just me making a mistake in my D code. Vim source SDL abstraction. I don't know why my thing's not completing. But let's do this here. Version. I'm just going to kind of duplicate this code here. Load message return equals. Okay, because we want this error handling stuff here to like print out a message here if something happens. Okay, so anyways, let's try that now. Dub. Okay, so now almost there. Same, I guess, linking error here. But what didn't we do? Well, hopefully you have that SDL folder somewhere. SDL, capital SDL 3.dll. Let's copy this. I'm just gonna, let's see if I can find the icon here. They're always moving. There it is, copy, just so you can see me copy it. And let's see, now the challenge on Windows, can I find that folder? Let's see, I guess I gotta go to this PC, users, me, SDL, command line thingy. There it is. And then I created another folder in here. That was our first sort of junk file, but then we decided we're going to do things with dub. Let's paste it in here. Now I did put it in a folder called libs. I'm actually just going to get rid of that in my SDL abstraction. Actually, let's try to run it, because SDL, it might just look for it. Let's see if it just finds it magically. No, it did not. Okay. It didn't give us a linking error, though, I guess, which is good news. So it must have found something, but let's see, SDL abstraction.d. If we just fix this up here by doing SDL, and I can never remember which platforms are case sensitive or not, so I'm just going to make sure it's exactly as our DLL is. Let's try to run it now. And let's see. Did it do something? A window! Hooray! DSDL3 window. Cool. And we did it all on the command line and the prompt, and didn't have to install any like weird compilers or anything. It just kind of works. And that's really all we need. Now you can follow any of my D lessons, or for that matter, the C++ ones, in case there are some different videos. Okay, so that's doing it all with the command prompts. Now, again, you might have not liked that on the command prompt. So again, in Visual Studio, let me just show you kind of the same thing. Okay, so PowerShell is usually a little bit different than other terminals, but let's just see if we can go into our SDL command thing. The slashes are backwards. Sorry, I don't know why Windows decided to do that here. But at least ls works, so I'm very, very happy about that. But let's see if we can open up that file now. Just to give you a little workflow, right? You probably want to work, you know, in VS Code or your favorite editor. Again, that's Vim for me. Even on Windows, I kind of like Vim, but actually, we'll probably do a separate video on VS Code here. But I'm just going to open up the files here, just so we have them. See if I can open both if I do Shift Select. I trust these. You just saw me write them. Okay, and if you want another experience here with VS Code, I've got a video on the D programming language playlist on setting up things, but there are packages for like doing code completion and stuff. servd or coded, I forget. So let me actually just show you that here. I always have to remember extensions, I believe. D language. Should be one of the first ones. This one here. Coded. Here, let's just install it, because if I'm going to bother to show you all this stuff, you're going to say, hey, I want syntax highlighting, which is reasonable. Okay, so let's see. VS Code's pretty cool. It just is ready. So sometimes it's pretty good. But anyways, there's my files. They're code highlighted. There's some other features you can turn on and off and stuff. There's this stuff. And again, I basically just want to navigate into the SDL3 example. And from here, let's see, I should just be able to run dub, and it'll also work here, right? So now you can change your files and compile your stuff, okay? So anyways, let's X out a few of those things so we can concentrate on what we did here. So what did we do? Just to recap here, we used Microsoft Edge web browser to install the bindbc plugin, or package rather, where we dynamically linked in the SDL library, which we downloaded from, let's see if we can go back in our history here. From here on the SDL language binding pages. We also downloaded SDL. We just downloaded in the releases the x64 library. Again, very, very important that you choose the right one. If you chose ARM accidentally or x86 or one of the Visual Studio Code ones or MinGW, etc., it might not work. So those are all different things. At the very least, I mean, these are different architectures here, these top three. So just keep that in mind. But we did that. We Googled around for help. I have a bunch of videos, as I mentioned. You can check those out. And look, you can actually find my whole library of YouTube videos there. I always forget to point folks to that, but we should probably just go here and do a Control F for like SDL or dlang stuff, right? And then if you want to, I don't know, catch up on anything there, that's kind of nice. But the important part, which I'll just show you in Visual Studio Code, is we wrote our first SDL application to make sure that it works, just something like popping up a window. These functions look exactly like the C functions in SDL for the most part. On occasion, there are things in D that you have to do. For instance, D, you might have to const some, for instance, let me just give you an example here. Window title, D SDL3 window. Let's just try to pass that in here. Let's see here, like window title. Let's see. And let's save it, Control S. Let's run deb here. It does get upset because, it's expecting C library stuff. So, it wants it to be a const char star in C. So you can either call the D functions to convert it. We can try to cast it, const char star. Let's see if that just works for the purpose of this video. Save, try to rerun. And let's see here. Now it runs here. Okay, that might be giving us a little error thing, but it did run there. Let's see, example not found. I don't know what that means for now, but it's working. But anyways, the easiest thing to do here, I'm just going to Control Z here, is usually just follow the examples to work fine. I think I actually know how to fix that bug. I've encountered that before. Let's see, didn't give us any problems here. Just for the cast, I guess it was unhappy about that for whatever reason. But anyways, there's a function in the D standard library in Phobos that I usually use. I think it's in the standard.conv for conversion, and then you can convert a string to a string Z, a null terminated or zero terminated string, and that usually doesn't cause any error. So anyways, that's some stuff to look out for, but stuff's all basically the same in Windows otherwise. And then we just did a little delay. Now, of course, the other thing is, if you don't initialize SDL and you try to call these functions, you will get a segfault. And you might ask yourself, where did I initialize SDL? Well, I did that in the SDL abstraction, right? Because this module will have these functions called ahead of time, right? Like somewhere I printed out SDL successfully initialized. That was in here. This module constructor was called first, which did this important job of locating our SDL3 DLL, which has the implementations. This also sets up in bindbc. SDL includes all the definitions and symbols for the functions and types that we want, the enums and so on. Does that work? And then again, we initialize SDL and then we quit SDL. Again, this may be something that you adapt. You'll come up with your own abstraction or your own way to start up or shut down SDL. That's fine. But this again is sort of a nice way to work. So hopefully that was helpful in getting you set up with SDL3 just on native Windows. Stay tuned for other videos showing you how to do this on Windows Subsystem for Linux. And if folks are also interested, we can do it for Visual Studio because I know a lot of game programmers like using Visual Studio, and there's a cool Visual D plugin that you can use. All right, folks, so thanks for your time and attention. Let's go ahead and wrap up.